across the country, I don't see equity being improved to that extent. Again, I call upon National Planning Authority. The models may have generated them, but let us use. I hope you find my contribution modest enough to improve on the plan. Thank you.
You see, Honorable Max is a finance expert. He's speaking from experience. But now, system of governance, regional tier. Regional tier, I think we have to, NP have to benchmark with Kenya, where development seems to be moving very well in Kenya. The governors are competing in launching developmental projects, successful projects. So that's the thing now. It's still your NPA to go and find out and propose and maybe see the merits of what is suggesting regional tier. But for poverty marks, I do believe some things. If they are telling you over 5 years we want poverty to be reduced, and the plan is addressing that, why do we resist in remaining static where we are? They are the ones setting the target, and our work is to ask them, please meet your target. So if they don't meet the target, then we shall ask why. You fire, or there may be genuine reasons for not meeting the target, then you say, okay, we now correct that. So let them hang themselves with that high target. And that's why we are saying they must control the plan, not just write those targets and then they come back later and tell us, you know, those implementers didn't follow. Still, we blame them. We have to, they must know the blame goes back to them because they are the setters, and they must make sure that the implementation is to the cause. If it's not, then they raise the red flag, not them going to sleep. Thank you, Honorable Max. Others like Gini coefficients, those ones are yours and them. Some of us will need 30 years in school to understand them. So we understand direct issues. Honorable Sabire.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I want to thank the Minister, the National Planning Authority, for the presentations yesterday. Mr. Chairman, if you look at this plan, it really, yesterday, if you are not to guide properly, members had started debating the National Development Plan in line with the demands of their constituencies. And I reached an extent of saying maybe this team, Mr. Chairman, that you lead, would not be the best team to go through this plan. I said almost. Why? Because if someone is saying, I'm not seeing my road, I'm not seeing any project here, the person is right because he's a representative of the people. So the plan should speak to the demands and priorities of someone's constituency. But we represent the nation, so the plan speaks to the demands and priorities of the country, and it is the country that we represent. If you look at the strategic directions that were highlighted here, I don't have any doubt that this is the way to go. But aligning this plan with the manifesto of the ruling government and then the national budget, the annual budget, is something that we must reconcile properly. Mr. Chairman, sometimes there are projects that appear in the manifesto but you cannot trace for them in the plan. Why? Because if a national leader goes in a certain area, you could identify a need, but that need may not necessarily have appeared in the national plan. Yeah. And there are promises that are made by the president, but those promises must be fulfilled by the government. But if you trace for them in the national plan, you may not get them. I want to give you an example, Mr. Chairman. In the Busoga sub-region, there is a road that appears in the manifesto. Designs were made, but when I tried to look into the National Development Plan 2 and 3, that road is not there. But feasibility studies were carried out, and the road appears in the manifesto. That is Iganga, Mayuge, and Wonda. So, if you go to the Iganga, Mayuge, Wonda road, 62 kilometers, it is in the manifesto. Designs were made, but it is not in the National Development Plan. 3, and even in 4 it is not there. So someone asks, why did the government spend money to design a road that is not in the National Development Plan? But it was a pledge. Mr. Chairman, one of the strategic directions in line with the objectives of this plan, you look at the mineral development of the country. Busoga sub-region has districts like Bugweri, Mayuge, Bujiri, and Iganga, where rare earth minerals were discovered. And the government has already issued a mining license. But if you look at the table behind here, the annexes, there is no any other road that was planned to help the mineral deposits that were discovered in the region. But doesn't discourage me. For one reason, because the plan speaks about investment in mineral development. So that means that whatever is put here is not necessarily what the government is going to do. But when the minister was presenting, he said that we shall follow the plan. Every project that is going to appear in the budget must be picked from the National Development Plan, and that should be the order. But do we need really to align all projects in the plan? What kind of volume of the book shall we have? I think we just need to have a summary of the strategic investment where government plans to spend and collect revenue to help step up the plan. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to congratulate the Ministry of Finance and the National Planning Authority for the plan that is going to act like our engine and the lights for us to follow. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. So, when elections happen, the winning party has a manifesto which you have to implement. Yeah. We provided for a midterm review just to take care of that. Okay. Because when you win, in your first year, then you indicate clearly what you are going to do. So in the midterm review, we then review the plan. And that review is also provided to take care of issues like Honorable Isavirie was raising, that you have discovered a big mine of rare earth minerals, and you want to exploit them, but you need an access road there. Then in the midterm review, you provide for that type of infrastructure. So that is the essence of the midterm review, to take care of such problems.
Now, can you be just, instead of waiting for midterm, which is 2.5 years, because when a party comes in office, it finds when even the budget is already done for a year. So can't you do it with middle after 1 year, so that you start to go forward when these manifestos are catered for?
But you see, this plan is a legal instrument provided for under the law, and in the comprehensive planning framework which we agreed upon, we do the review after 2.5 years. I think it can be accommodated.
Is that the law, that 2.5 years?
2.5 years is the policy.
Yeah, but now the party has come with its manifesto. It has issues it wants to handle. And you will wait for 2.5 years. By the time you are making a review, they are going for another election. They have not fulfilled what is in the manifesto.
Well, but Mr. Chairman, we have also encouraged the political parties because we don't know which party is going to win.
Yeah, there are many parties.
We as planners, we don't know which party will win. Now, we do a national development plan. Now, we ask the parties to align themselves to the plan as they develop their manifestos.
Honorable colleagues, come in. I can say agriculture better come. We need you here.
Yes, the known political parties in Uganda. Honorable Minister, this would speak to cohesion. Yesterday, Mr. Pius Bigirimana appeared as if he had not really been, the agency he represents had not really been part of the planning to develop the development plan because of the controversy that was raised. Now, it speaks to also other sector players who may have in-depth knowledge of their respective sectors to have made an input into the national development plan, including political parties. And I think it speaks to how much, and I'm glad the executive director yesterday mentioned to a consultative process and work in progress in development of the national development plan. This calls for additional consultations, acquisition of knowledge, and being flexible enough to admit further information into the plan.
Okay, for us, we are going to recommend that you review the plan immediately after 1 year in order to accommodate the manifesto of the party that will be government. That one we must, because we are not going to force parties that when you are making your manifesto, look at the development plan and copy the development plan as your manifesto. Then all parties will have the same manifesto. Now, how does one outwit the other one? So each party will have its own thinking, make their manifesto, come in office the first year already, you swear in when the budget is already approved. They can't change that immediately, but after 1 year, you are doing the study and you make a review to fit in.
Chairman, help me here.
Yes.
Parties prepare manifestos in order to win votes.
Yeah.
So they would say those very outrageous things. I'll build a mountain here.
Stick themselves, not like where a party decided that they are going to build an airport in Nigeria. So they built an airport. The only day the plane landed was the inauguration day. For 10 years, no plane has landed there. So you find somebody hosts AFCON and builds a huge stadium in Gabon, in a place called Port Gentil. And immediately after AFCON, nobody stepped there and it's a forest. So there are those to be debated.
Honorable Chair, my understanding of the submission is that there has been a running manifesto, not the new manifesto. That is my understanding of the submission. And that in the old previous manifestos, this road has been coming up and other things. It's without having too much alteration of the plan. There are critical manifesto stated interventions that needed to have been done. If those are missed and we still have the manifesto, it is still running, and we are doing the plan, maybe we need to have a process of aligning at this time.
Okay.
That was my understanding.
Fine. Honorable Choma.
A sitting government. It's a sitting government plan, and it has given us the strategic direction approved by the president, and is going to put it forward here.
Yes, he's actually the one writing it himself. He's drafting it himself. You know,
That is true.
there are a lot of statements attributed to him in this plan.
That is true.
Yeah, and the cabinet adopted it. But we need to be mindful that Uganda, you know, comprises other interests. And I don't have to sit here and portray the interests of my party alone. I have to take care of all other interests. Otherwise, I'll be misunderstood and I'll be thrown out.
Okay, so anyway, on that one, we shall make a recommendation. Colleagues, we shall make a recommendation. We may even recommend you try to adjust the planning cycle so that election takes place first. Then you do the plan. Honorable Naibare.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much for that ruling. Proceed. Yeah, and I want to submit that we have a very competent team.
Authority. It is not right for us to hold concessions for which we are not performing. It's now going forward, it's going to be critical that for every concession we put a performance condition and then a sunset clause to those concessions, because they are impacting on mining, they're impacting on tourism, they're impacting on forestry, and they're also impacting on manufacturing. That is our view. Now, regarding the issue of UNBS, Chair, this is a very serious issue. The standards of our goods that we produce is critical. It is true we have assessed there is a capacity issue in UNBS. And it is critical that we invest in the equipment, in the human resource, but most importantly, they must also invest in their process systems internally. There is an issue which is not coming out very well. The mindset of these regulatory institutions in this country need to change. If the strategy is that we should have small scale and medium, those are the ones that give us jobs. Every time we close them, we are losing jobs because the big companies don't give us new jobs. It is critical that UNBS and the ministry ensure that those are supported to achieve the standard. They shouldn't be closed. They should be assisted, mentored to achieve the standard. And the funding that we are proposing should also go to that. So, Chair, we take note of this. It is a critical thing.
So have you proposed investment in UNBS?
Yes, we have.
Manpower and equipment so
Yes.
that they now
We are
you will now whip them
Yes.
to do those other things you
Yeah.
are saying.
We are
To
also
do the right
proposing
things.
a change in their funding model
Yes.
because it is also a constraint. It is true that we will not accept resources to be used at source. It is a bad idea. We have created a single account. All resources should be collected and put in that. But we are now discussing how to finance them in advance, to find that they have money to do the work. Because if they collect money from me and it has gone to the consolidated fund and it delays to come back, we impair their performance. So we have taken note of that, sir, and we are proceeding. Now, regarding the tractors, we have two projects, Climate Smart, which you have just approved. It's a very, very big project. It is handling the tractors, but now there is a constraint. We have to be able to deal with what we call appropriate technology.
Yes.
There are areas where tractors have been given and they are parked. They are parked because the land holding, like in Busoga, we know of tractors that are parked. They only need 3 days to complete the entire village. And beyond that, they are parked. So it is going to be critical to mix. When you read the plan, we are providing for tractors, but we are also providing for walking tractors.
Those small ones for Kabale,
Yes.
Kigezi, and
Yes.
Bulambuli area.
Those areas where the land holding is like 1.5 acres
Yeah.
and less.
and hill areas.
That is critical. Regarding the high-value crops,
But how much are you providing? Because I'm seeing 54.
no, there is the
2 billion
project,
for 5 years.
that is a closing project.
Okay.
Because all projects that are remaining with 1 year or 2 years have been kept in the plan with the
Okay.
financing. But there are also new projects like Climate Smart, which is running for the next
About
5
how
years.
much?
Climate Smart, what is the size?
How many trillions? Because we expect
It is
trillions.
$350 million
Oh,
US dollars.
that translates to 1 trillion,
1+ trillion.
1.14.
Yes.
Oh, still small for 5 years, every year, 200.
Yeah, but as you have noted, Chair, every time we have an intervention, for as long as it is captured, we have not stopped projects where we mobilize resources for those that are critical.
Okay.
So it will now depend on the sectors and ourselves and how fast we prepare these projects and programs such that what we have in the plan is implemented. Now, regarding high-value crops,
But you need to tell, before you go to agriculture, you need to tell us about industry. What intervention in industry? You talked
Yes.
for Sukuru, yes, which you are, where members are noting that maybe that one is a semi-investor, not a real investor.
yes, my colleague is going to handle industry. Can you check on the section of industry?
Industry,
But as he checks the section of industry, I would like to respond to the issue of high-value crops. This list, Honorable Chair.
So, how we procure, I don't know when you talk about NPA doing control, I think we need to also move in that direction. What do we procure?
okay. Okay, so the whole implementation cycle, you are buying tractors. When farmers, so you have to pick for your manifesto. Honorable Goli.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I reiterate part of what we discussed yesterday, which requests that be pursued in this plan. I note we have looked at what products, but we have not looked at do we have growth centers which we want to target, which can bring a lot of better results, and we put things like infrastructure to support them. An example, the road needs not to be counted in terms of kilometers, but how do they reduce the cost of doing business in areas? For that, I would give an example, and I would where by accident of birth I come from, that is Lango area. You look at the plan gives a very good estimation of how to is okay. The bridge which is being planned at Ruekunye or Masindi Port is also very good. The only challenge I see is that there are small connections to make these roads networks, which are just few. For example, if you are connecting from Kotido, trying to come to Kampala, passing through a Molatar may be the best. It will save you a lot from kilometers other than passing Lira. You save fuel by over 50%. So it is important that we make those dots to make the connection of cost more effective. So I would request those small connections be considered. Just like you would see from Dokolo Alloy, so that you connect with the one which is going to continue the Dokolo Alloy connection to what has already been planned.
Okay, can we hear from lady from Karamoja?
Yes. First of all, kudos to the ministry for considering this.
We also clap when there is
when there is something.
Industrialization is one of the key areas of focus in this plan. And to enhance industrialization, our whole chapter 11 of manufacturing, on page 136, starting from 136 and 137, recognizes the role that the small size industries, light and small size industries play in our economy. And actually here it is noted that constitutes 80% of total numbers of industries that we have. And the plan actually indicates difficulties that these industries face. And Mr. Chairman, on page 142, they begin to state what the government will do to enhance and support manufacturing. There is no indication anywhere to say, for example, one of the things that they had been talking about is to co-invest with this private sector, to co-invest with these small, light and small industries so that they can really continue to create jobs and continue to do value addition. And one of the entities in this country which is a conduit for government to invest in the private sector is UDC. And on a number of entities that they are put here to support the private sector investment, UDC is not mentioned. And there's no particular clear plan. What they do is they say, we'll take you to Uganda Development Bank, which has a very onerous requirement process, which these light and small industries will not be able to benefit from. Would the minister come so clearly and say, after recognizing that 80% of our manufacturing sector is controlled by light and small scale industries, but in the plan you don't have basically a clear intervention agenda to make sure that they become sustainable, because they're actually the future of manufacturing in this country. Mr. Chairman, I seek to be guided. Thank you.
Thank you. There is information from, let him first give information. Chair, Defense. Is it on that UDC or you want to use it to acquire arms?
That will, Chair, first of all, I thank you so much.
Manufacture arms.
Yes. My name is Wilson Kagenje. I chair Defense and Internal Affairs Committee. I'm also a member of Parliament representing Nyabushozi.
Okay.
Apologies because I've been chairing a committee, that's why I've not been regularly here. I'm happy that Honorable Mara brought the matter of financing the development plan. Very crucial. In my absence, you might have addressed it, but let me highlight it because yesterday I was following and I didn't get a clear answer.
This plan, you see, what you have to get to know is this country called Uganda has about 21,000 kilometers of road network that is supposed to be tarmacked. However, so far, about 60,000 have been tarmacked. Now, what the government is doing is always to make a plan. Now they are making a plan, a 5-year plan to increase that tarmacked network. So, which can't be done overnight. So there is a selection of some roads that are to be tarmacked. And based on what they call analysis, internal rate of return, so they are going to look at which roads can quickly accelerate production. The production roads which can earn money quickly in order to be reinvested into others. The tourism roads, the roads for some valuable products that need to be brought to market and transported. Others are going to be serviced by railway network. So it's a 5-year development plan. But you know, as you plan, you must know that there is, as you have heard the minister say, there is always a scarcity. So you have to do choices and prioritize how to fit in. But over time, by 2040, all must be done. That's the plan which is on. And then jobs, all must have jobs. But the point is we plan. What we're emphasizing here is we must stick to the plan. When we are going for budgeting, we are going to use the plan as our Bible. So that what is planned is what is done. And then in the next phase, you take another load so that we don't start jumping again. We don't expect the government to be jumping out of what is planned. That is the issue. Okay? So only that. We are also going to say, we also observed that we are headed for election, which means when the plan is just starting to operate, there will be a new government in place with a manifesto. And a manifesto is a contract between the ruling party and the citizen. So we're asking NPA, when that time comes, they must carry a review and try to reconcile the ruling party's manifesto with the National Development Plan. Amen?
Amen. But manifesto ya nupu nego
endese wano evudde ku plan ey'emyaka 5 NDP4 enteekateeka namutayika ey'emyaka 5 gavumenti yeyanjudde ng'eyita minisita w'okuteekateeka. Ensonga enkulu ezibaddemu ku makubo ne ku gaali y'omukka nga bwe tugimanyi mu lulimi lwaffe, ekitundu kya Buganda kino kikoleddwako obulyazaamaanyi. Olaba obuguudo bwogerako obuva mu butawuni tebukiikirira wa abantu baffe abasinga gye babeera gye bakolera emirimu. Yensonga lwaki mbuziza minisita nti bwe twafuna amafuta ne bakola enguudo z'amafuta, bakola n'enguudo ezoogerwako nezitwala abalambuzi. Emmwanyi n'abalima emmwanyi bayimirizaayo eggwanga lino nga sinala kufuna bwetwaze n'okutuusa leero. Amafuta mu myaka 2 tujja tulaba mpompogoma na scrap gajja kuba gaweddeyo, emmwanyi zijja kuba zikyaliwo. Padde n'ekyokulabirako kya nguudo 2 zokka, zombi ziva Kyabakuza Masaka City. Olumu lugenda Bukomansimbi luyita ku maka g'eyali Ssaabaminisita wa Uganda yasooka Ben Kiwanuka, ate olulala ludda Lwengo Raka ne luguka erya Ntonde. Oluyita olwa Ben luliko kilomita 43 olugenda Ziryana, ate oludda Endagwe luliko kilomita 63. Ebitundu ebyo bibiri byemu ku bisinga okulima emmwanyi mu Uganda okumala ebbanga ddene, naye amakubo agagendayo obeera nga agenda Wawalumba Ettanda. Minisita tannyonnyodde, talina nsonga gy'awadde yasimba lwaki amakubo ago tegali mu pulaani. Naye ng'olaba obukubokubo oba bugenda ku luzzi oba bwakuyigga misu obatadde mu puroguramu, naye ng'obabuuza nti lino gye ligenda waliyo ki. Situganye buli kkubo lirina okukolebwa, naye bwe tuba nga tuli mu kwesalangalo ng'essente ntono, osookera gy'onajja ssente n'okola watali kivaayo. So enteekateeka ndoza yakifuula nnenge. Ekyokubiri, otunulira map ya train egenda okukolebwa emanyiddwa nga standard gauge. Ekitundu kya Buganda ekivaamu emirimu emingi egikolebwa ekirimu emmwanyi n'ebirala era tekiriimu. Kyokka jjukira nti ne metered gauge eri enkadde tekiriimu. So si lwakuba nti njagala kwogerera kitundu kino kyokka ng'omukulembeze, naye ate wentandikira otandike okulaba obulyazaamaanyi. Nsabye minisita nti okusobola okufuna obwenkanya ne bannayuganda bategeere bulungi ki ekiri mu pulaani y'emyaka 5, okukola amakubo n'okukola eggaali y'omukka, abitemeetememu alambike bulungi buli kitundu kyabe kye kinaafunamu mu bugazi bw'amakubo oba mu buwanvu bw'amakubo ate ndiga n'ayitira. Naye mu byonna mu pulaani y'emyaka 5 ekitundu kino oyinza okugamba nti kifunye mbyoya byanswa.
Awo ababaka tebabikudde bulungi kitabo kye tubawadde, naye essira tulitadde nnyo ku by'obulambuzi. In fact tulina mu ka concept ke tuyita ATMs nga mulimu Industrialization ye eddakaawo, T ye tourism, eddakaawo ye minerals beneficiation, ne tuzaako S science, technology and innovation. Nolwekyo ebyobulambuzi tubiwadde omwaganya munene nnyo mwe bigenda okutuula, era tugenda kubanga tutunuulira enguudo n'ebirala ebyetaagisa abalambuzi okusobola okujja abangi, naye si kujja bugi bangi naye n'okuba nga basigala wano. ate era nga basigalawo ebbanga eddeneko. N'ekyokusatu okubanga akasente ke bazze nako konna mu nsawo balaba engeri gye bakasipendingamu. Kaakati ebyo bye tugenda okudevelopinga ebigenda okuleetera abalambuzi okukola ekyo kyennyini. Tukimanyi bulungi nti baliraanwa baffe babadde batutwalako abalambuzi olwa distance n'enguudo embi okutuuka ku tourism sites. N'olwekyo kaakati enguudo ezo ez'abalambuzi twagala okuba nga tuzikola. Abalambuzi banguyirwenga okugendayo nga kwe kuli n'okuzimba aerodromes, ebisaawe by'ennyonyi, ennyonyi zisobole okugwayo, tusobole okuba nga abalambuzi tubatambuza mangu. N'olwekyo si kituufu nti ebyobulambuzi tetubiwadde mwaganya. In fact bye bintu kyekintu ekiri top on the agenda ng'oggyeko ebyobulimi n'ebyamakolero n'ebya minerals, ebyobugagga eby'omu ttaka. Mpuuga ndowooza aguddemu olubega awo, kubanga kaakati bw'otunuulira oluguudo oluva e Kampala okugenda e Masaka lwonna kawerete, olwo talutunuulidde nti nalwo luguudo luyamba abalimi b'emmwanyi okuzijja e Masaka okuzireeta eno. N'enguudo endala zonna mu bitundu ebyo weewaawo wabaawo enguudo ezo eza district zetugamba nti zigira zibeera eza maramu, naye ng'emmwanyi zisobola okutambulira ku nguudo eza maramu. Si luguudo nti lulina kubeera lwa koolaasi, emmwanyi zisobole okutambulirako. Ekyokubiri kyerabidde nti atunuulidde Masaka yokka kubanga gy'ava era si kibi okweyagaliza, naye bw'otunula mu pulaani eno mulimu enguudo nnyingi nnyo eziri mu Central Region eziteereddwamu. In fact bw'oba weetegereza obulungi oyinza okwesanga nga Central Region etutte Lions Share. Ekitabo sikirina mu maaso gange, naye enguudo nnyingi eziteereddwamu nga gya kitundu kino ekya Central Region. N'olwekyo tatunuulira Masaka yokka, naye atunuulire region. Bwe tuba twogera ku region of balance, Central Region erina space gyefunyemu pulaani eno, kituufu Central Region efunyemu space nene. Bwetegereza document ng'olaba enguudo zetulambisa obulungi. Zonna regions twazitunuulira. Ekigambo kya region of balance twakitunuulira nnyo nga tukola pulaani eno, kubanga population yaffe yonna erina okubeera happy. Weewaawo pulaani yaffe tugikoze okusinziira ku biruubirirwa okulaba nti bye tuproduce nga bitambula, naye n'ekyo ku balansinga regions nakyo tukitaddeko nga kintu kikulu nnyo. Bumaliriza project nkadde kyokka, kubanga ekyokumaliriza project nakyo kikulu nnyo, kubanga twatunuulira pulaani eyasooka NDP 1, NDP 2 ne NDP 3. Mwalimu core projects zaffe zetwagamba okukola, ezimu ne zitakolebwa, ezimu ne zitandikwa ne ziba nga zitambula okujja mu pulaani eno ey'okuna. Ezo kye tusookeddeko ne tugamba ezo zirina okukolebwa, naye ng'oggyeko ezo projects nnyingi nnyo empya eziyingidde mu pulaani eno. Kuba projects nyingi zetutayinza kuleka mabega. Kakati laba twakalonkinga SGR, standard gauge rail line, twakagilonkinga mu mwezi nga gumwe mabega. Kakati eyo eyingiramu NDP4 butereevu, tetuyinza kugivaako. Zino meter gauge ze bazimba eza rail line okugenda paka ggulu yatandika okuzimbwa, tetuyinza gireka mu bbanga, tulina ogireeta mu pulaani eno empya esobole okwongera okubeera nga eweebwa ensimbi. Kwegamba byombi tubikoze, okuleeta projects enkadde ezitanaggwa n'okuyingirira projects empya, kubanga ziri enkadde ezimu zijja ne loans zaazo zetwezewolera, sente ezo ziba zikyaliwo, kale tetuyinza kuzisuula. Of course projects empya nnyingi nnyo ez'enguudo eziyingidde mu NDP4, naddala bwe ziba zicontributinga ku production gye twogeddeko, nga zigenda ku minerals, ku bintu bye twogeddeko. Of course process tenabeera fully concluded. Bwe tuzze wano wabaddewo ideas ezimu ezituweereddwa, ezo ezimu tujja genda tuzongere mu pulaani nga parliament bw'eneeba etulagidde.
Ebisuubizo bya gavumenti mu pulaani ya gavumenti ogeraganya ku pulaani engiyamu.
Well, ebisuubizo bingi bivaayo era tubirabye, naye of course ekyo olina okigeejinga okusinziira ku bizibu ebibaddewo. Pulaani eno gye tugenda okuwunzika yafiirwa emyaka kumpi 2-3, emyaka 2 nga tuli mu covid mwennyini awo yatandikira ne tufiirwa emyaka 2. Omwaka ogwokusatu ne tuteekamu nnyo amaanyi okulaba nti edduka, era olaba nti growth rate yaffe yakka netuuka ku 3%, kaakati tuzzeeyo ku 6.6% growth, kwegamba tubadde mu lutalo olwa recovery, okurikavaringa pace ya growth. Kyova olaba nti ebitundu bingi mu pulaani eno birabikanga ebitakoleddwa, naye lwa threat eyo gye twafuna, naye ng'ebisinga kaakati biddire ddala ku luguudo, era tutandise okubiddukanya. Tubadde tukola butaweera okulaba nti ekonome eddamu okudduka ku misinde egyayiriyiri, era tugamba nti pulaani eno empya gye tukoze bwewatabeerewo shooko nga ezo ze twafuna ku luno, tujja kuba nga tutuuse mu 10% growth, olwo olyokka olabe nga tutuukidde ddala ku take off stage. Short challenges of course ezisinga lw'amabanja ge tubadde twewola. Amabanja tugeewola kubanga ssente ze tukuŋŋaanya mu misolo zikyali ntono bw'ogeraageranya Uganda ku nsi endala. Tax to GDP, kwegamba tugeraageranya omusolo gwe tukuŋŋaanya ne GDP y'eggwanga tuli ku 13%. Ensi sub-Saharan average Africa eri 18%. Nolaba nga tulina wansi wa average 13%. Naye olwedda abantu bagamba nti emisolo gikoze eki gisusse, emisolo gituli bubi nnyo, naffe ne tuttamu ku bigere ne tugamba nti wa tetutta abantu baffe olw'emisolo. Olidde kakati nno emisolo bwe gitabeerawo gimala kuddukanya pulaani eno, kitegeeza nti tulina okwewola. Naye ate bwe weewola olina okusasula ye debt servicing. Kakati mu kusasula amabanja, ssente ezo zetusasula amabanja ne zitwala ate omusolo gwe tukuŋŋaanya, olwo ezisigalawo zetuteeka mu kuteeka pulaani mu nkola. Kakati awo wabadde okusoomoza, era ebyo bye bimu ku challenges ze tulina okuadressinga mu pulaani eno.